such bad boundaries. I had no boundaries. And I mean, the gift of that's quite common for, empaths, sensitives, healers. The gift of that was it taught me a lot about people, and it taught me a lot about myself, because some of the people I would merge with were not good for me. But I went the immersive route, meaning I just had no boundaries, didn't know that they were important. A boundary, I think we often see it as a boundary against the other, and that's kind of the wrong way to think about it. Yeah, sometimes there are people in your life that aren't good for you, and you do sometimes have to draw a line in the sand when you wake up to that fact and go, wow, every time I go to her house, she just rips me apart verbally. And I finally got to the point where I need to draw a line in the sand. And of course, what's going on for you is you never quite healed that with your mother or some early figure in your life that you've chosen this friend to replay that wound with. You couldn't heal it with them, you couldn't resolve it with them, so you find someone else to play out that side of you. The boundary piece is really about, are you taking care of yourself? And usually what happens with people who don't have boundaries, haven't learnt them, or let other people abuse them a lot, is they have two things. They kind of have a Pollyanna view of the world. I had it. You kind of think, oh, well, the universe will take care of me, and if I'm loving, everyone will be loving. And it doesn't work like that. You can't just assume that what you put out is also going to come back to you. Sometimes it does. And the more you cultivate the ability to give what we might call good energy out, you should see that that multiplies in your life. But I also equally see a lot of people going, I'm giving good energy all the time and all that comes back to me is bad. And I'm like, well, let's look at your boundaries and let's look at your lack of discernment, because you're giving good energy to someone who's abusing you over and over again, and you're addicted to that abusive relationship. You haven't gone, hang on a second, why am I, there's something needs to wake up in your own ability to look after yourself, protect yourself. So it's a tricky thing, because we do merge as people. You love your friend, and so when you go to your friend, you take off all your armor and you're just like, oh, I'm with my friend that I love, and you merge, and there's a joy in that, and there's a connection that we all crave where we can just be defenseless around each other. So we have a craving for that, but to get there, you have to learn, when is it a good time to have a defense? When is it a good time to go, that woman seems really judgmental about everybody at the party, so when she starts probing me with the personal questions, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I'm not going to just surrender my will to her forceful way of asking personal questions because I'm easily manipulated or I'm easily pushed into things by people. I've learnt my boundary now. I've identified she doesn't look like she's doing anything good for people here. I'm going to keep my mouth shut, or I'm going to say, oh, I don't want to answer those questions, thank you. That's a boundary. When you have no boundary, you just give it all away or trust, oh, this will all work out. Well, it will as a spiritual lesson. As a spiritual lesson, if you're paying attention, we'll go through any bad relationship in our life, recover, heal, come out the other side, look back and go, oh, I see what I was doing there. Boundaries are imperative. I remember channeling years ago, and they said, the more you learn your boundary, the more open you will become. And at the time I remember thinking, oh, that sounds a bit, because I was still half and half. I still wanted to be open to everybody and love everybody. But it's so true. I've seen that, we're hungry as a world. I think people are hungry for connection and love, but they don't always go about getting it the right way, because they haven't become conscious of that in themselves. So there can be manipulative behavior. So you can have compassion for them as a soul with what they're doing, but you can't have so much compassion that you just surrender your energy, who you are, to their game. You have to know, oh no, this isn't my game to play. So a boundary is really discerning, should I be defenseless and open with this person? Can I trust that? Is this the right person for me to be like that with? Or should I just reserve my judgment a little bit, and when they ask me to give them $100 and I've only got $200 to my name that week, do I just hand it over, or do I wait with this person? And it's something you learn over many years, and usually you learn it the hard way. But when you've learned it, my God, the stuff that you can do in your life, because when you're owning your own energy and not having it siphoned off here, there and everywhere, suddenly you start to do really good stuff in the world, and you can really use your energy for those that you love and serve in your life, because you're not exhausted because everybody else has been stealing pieces of you everywhere you go, and you've been letting them.